The other day, I was at the local grocery store, and this was around 6 in the morning. And as I'm there, I see a woman walk in who's probably in her early 20s. And no kidding, it looked like it was a UFC ring entrance. The way her chin was up, the way her chest was pumped up, the way she acted like she owned the place.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more common in society now.
So, as I'm doing my grocery shopping, I don't think a whole lot of it because in the area I'm in, you do see a lot of that strong and independent female, so called. But as I'm leaving, I see the cash register across from me. And this gentleman who's working there is probably also in his early 20s. And he's ringing her up and scanning her groceries, and she's being very rude and dismissive towards him. He says good morning, she says whatever, like just ignores him, brushes it off, as if this guy was trying to get her number or something. When the only number he wanted was the one for the rewards program, if that applies, or the PIN number so she could pay for her groceries. And as I'm in my car in the parking lot, I see her loading groceries in the car, and she can barely do it. She can barely even put a bag of groceries or a thing of water in her car. She's struggling to do that. Now, I don't help her. I choose not to help her. I choose not to involve myself with modern women like this because look at how she behaved towards the cashier. Assuming the guy was trying to get her number or something, or wanted her, whatever she would have thought in her head, or tried to make it seem like that she was so desirable. I'm not going to play that game of I'm being the creep, and I'm not doing that. So she can go gossip to her.
It's sad that we're living in a time to where if someone has manners or just does anything nice or kind, that they automatically get in trouble for it. It really is sad, and it's sad that we're living in a time to where, I mean, automatically off the bat, if someone's kind or and like from a sincere heart, they automatically get trashed and gaslighted, and it's just not it's not good.
Friends about
And
how
see, that's the new normal. That's the new normal now. The new normal is to always trash the man when it's not always the man's fault.
this guy tried to hit on her in the grocery store parking lot. I'm not playing that game. And a lot of men aren't playing that game anymore. Again, it's unfortunate that it's come to this.
When it's kind of like, in order to win the game, you don't play the game. So
But if there was an older woman there, I would have helped her, of course. But these modern women who act like this, who talk like this, who think like this, you couldn't pay me to involve myself with them. I don't. I want to stay far away from them as possible. So she think
well, especially now because now we're living in a time to where, and I don't hate women. Like it's like I feel like when I say a lot of this stuff, or when a lot of men say a lot of this stuff, they always have to feel like they have to explain themselves, and it's like, why do we have to explain ourselves over the obvious? You know what I mean? It's like if someone's being a piece of crap, why would you want to be around them? You know what I mean? And that's what's going on here. A lot of, and see, I don't hate women, but then there's a lot of women. It's kind of like they'll take and run with it, what you say, and then act like, oh, you hate women. No, I don't hate women at all. It's just we're gonna call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? With any sex, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, whether it's a child, we're gonna call what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong at the end of the day. But what's going on here is a lot of these women, they're getting away with everything. Like literally, I mean, they're getting away with everything. And then when you call them out on it, then they act like then they'll name call you and then call you a sexist when you're not being a sexist. You're just trying to do what's morally right and calling a spade a spade.
that she's strong and independent for struggling to barely even lift her groceries into her car. The point is, most men want nothing to do with modern women like this, and they will struggle with the ramifications of that. Not just physically, by the way. I'm talking about their well being. Everything will take a toll because they are so dependent on other people, in particular in men's validation and attention. Why would they act like they're above all these men? They would be indifferent. They wouldn't care. But they want everything to be about them, to be about selfishness, to be about them being wanted, them being chased. While men are not doing the chasing anymore, they want to artificially make it seem like it's existing.
Well, see, what's going on is, because this is going to be in the future, by the way, a lot of the corporations in the future, they're going to bring out AI companions. So then now people, they won't have natural affection anymore for each other. They'll just basically be having some freaking robot they're screwing.
This guy working a job at the grocery store early in the morning, he's not there to chase women. Even recently, I go to, every now and then, I'll go to the local Buffalo Wild Wings with some friends. And there's a waitress who works there, and she will refer to us as friend a lot, right? She'll refill our drink, and she'll be like, oh, thank you, or this and that, and hey, friend, and this. When I hear that, and it's not just me, because the people I go there with think the same thing. It's as if she's trying to put us in the friend zone, assuming we're going there to try to get her number or to try to get in a relationship.
It's kind of like, I'll keep, I know we're 3 minutes in the video and I've talked a lot already, but it's kind of like a lot of these women, their egos are so out of control that they think that you're hitting on them when you're not, you're just minding your own business. And then what they do is, see, they really get pissed off of this. When you just ignore them and mind your own business and just walk the other direction, they will really get pissed off over that. And see, all these Disney movies, a lot of these women have watched, and how the princess is the queen, and you know she gets princess treatment, and then how all these guys, they have to be the jester, and then they always make the white male the villain. Haven't you noticed that they always make the white male the villain in all these movies? Haven't you noticed that? And then you look at the villain and you're like, well, hold on a second. The villain's actually the good guy in the movies. If you really look at what the villain's fighting for, you're like, well, hold on a second. This guy's fighting for something morally right. And then what the heroes in the movies are portrayed as, they're really the evil people. So it's craziness. And see, they're always trying to make the males look like the villain. They're always trying to emasculate men.
Relationship with her, or to try to hit on her, or try to date her. That's what she's thinking. And she's trying to artificially make it seem like she is being chased by saying, oh, I got to put him in the friend zone. Meanwhile, we're just there to enjoy our evening. I don't know.
It's so crazy. I have no word. I mean, what words can you say to all this? Because I'm just like, man, this is just insane. I mean, this is crazy. This is nut world. This is nut job world. That didn't sound right. Never mind. But this is nut job world. This is nut job world. I mean, really, it's clown world, man. It really is. And see, I don't hate. This is what's so sad about all this. How I'm talking to you all, I could talk to people like this and be reasonable. Be like, hey, I would be reasonable. And it doesn't matter. It's like you could be reasonable, you could be kind, you could, you know, hold the door for people, you could be mannerly, and just like, you're dang if you do, dang if you don't. And it's like, well, what the heck, you know? And it's not good, because a lot of these younger women, when they're growing up, they have been psyoped into this mindset that they have. You know, and then what's happening is then they grow up and they're entitled to this spoiled, entitled mindset that they own everything. Or that people need to owe them something. Well, no one owes anything to anyone.
Go there for the women at all. I go there to enjoy my night with friends of mine, or to watch something if there's a sport on the TV, which I don't really follow sports. But that's why I'm going there. Come to find out, her boyfriend ended up getting a job there. Which, my thing is this: if you're to the point where you don't trust your woman, your girlfriend, your wife, to where you have to work at their place of work because you don't think they're up to any good, why are you still with them?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, why go through all this stress for someone who doesn't give a crap about you? I mean, really, it doesn't make sense.
Just walk away. And again, this is...
And then when you make sense of things, then you're called crazy, and you're called insane, and then you're treated like some weirdo or something, when you're really actually trying to piece the dots together and pay attention, and then you're like, well, hold on a second, something's not adding up here. And then you get gaslooted for questioning things. And this is the society we're living in now. This society that we're living in is basically, it's basically get the tar beat out of you, and don't complain and don't make excuses. And it's like, well, what the heck? We shouldn't even get the tar. Society shouldn't be that way towards the young men that are trying to rise up, the leaders, or men in general. Really, no one in general, period. But especially now, because now with men, things are coming back to where, yes, men are coming back into powerful positions, which is rightfully so, the patriarchy. But it's like society has basically demonized being a strong man. And sadly, even a lot of the churches have demonized that. And then all these people, they talk about how they want young men to rise, but then when young men are rising, then they're trying to take them out. I'm like, well, what in the world? What is this? And by the way, like I'm not gonna be over here. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna make excuses. But when I see all this stuff, and I'm not gonna play victim, but when I see all this stuff, I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, this is the craziest world. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
A point I want to make is that you have a lot of men who will overlook red flags like this, who will even get with women like this, who are not loyal. And then it backfires. I was watching the show Sopranos, and I've in a bit of a nostalgia kind of phase lately, but I was watching an episode of The Sopranos.
I mean, I'm gonna let the video play out because I'm talking too much. But it's kind of like listen more and be slow to speak and quick to hear. So, but the reason why a lot of people are in nostalgia now is because there's nothing good that's being produced now in a lot of the industries. I mean, everything now is just some sort of political push, and it's like, I mean, can't we just enjoy what we love to do and just keep things the way it is without all this political correctness and wokeness and all that?
And they were having a conversation about divorce. And one of the gentlemen made a comment about how it's terrible that a kid would be stripped away from their parents. And of course, I couldn't agree more. But you have a lot of men who are rushed into relationships like this, very rushed to engage with women, to marry women like this. And I think a lot of it even stems from how we were conditioned at a young age. And my point with this is I remember when I was in elementary school, and I'm pretty sure we all had come across this, but the teacher would time us to see how many pages we could read in a number of minutes, perhaps a minute, 2 minutes. And that would be what our, I guess, grade would be based on, or achievement would be based on. Meanwhile, it's not about digesting that information, understanding what you're reading, what you're seeing. So a lot of men, I think, carry over that mindset with relationships. It's not about her past, red flags, how she's like with family, past relationships, behavior. It's about rushing into things as fast as possible. And you see it backfire a lot. Like when it comes to divorce, these are the facts. Most women, pretty much all of the richest women in the world, got there because of divorce. If not divorce, it was from inheritance. It was from being a widow. So really off the hard work of another man, off the hard work of a man.
Well, what a lot of women are trying to do now is they're trying to get their cake and eat it too. They're trying to live wild when they go to college and all that. And then what they'll do is then when they get out of college, then they want to go find a guy that they can marry and then basically marry him and then divorce him and then take basically all his money and everything he worked for. And see, here's the thing. Even when it comes with marriage is not, it used to be a covenant with when you have two people get married, a man and a woman. It's supposed to be a covenant to God, but now it's not. Now it's a covenant to the state. Because if you have to go through the state to get married, that means that God is not in the marriage. It's the state that's in the marriage, and the state owns the marriage. And then not only that, when it comes to marriages in general, women have everything to gain, and men have everything to lose. And it really is sad that we're at this point in society because life could be so much greater. I mean, life, a lot of all this stuff really is unnecessary if you think about it. It's unnecessary. But that's what's going on.
It's what it comes down to. So the reality is you have a lot of men who sadly are rushing into relationships like this. And the saddest thing is you have a lot of men who are going to have to learn the hard way. They're going to have to learn the hard way. They're not going to listen to the discernment of their friends, even their own discernment perhaps in some cases, because they think that they can fix this girl, they can change this girl. Another thing too, when it comes to helping, a lot of the time women like this, they'll just use it to disrespect you. They will use that help as a place of vulnerability. They'll see it as
It's a humiliation ritual. And it's kind of like when they see a vulnerability in a man, instead of actually thinking that, oh man, well maybe he's got a great heart. Instead of that, they just flip the script and then try to hit him where it hurts, you know?
that. And they will use
Which is not right at all.
it to betray you down the line. They'll hold it in their back pocket.
Well, and another thing is, it's kind of like they're using it as leverage. So it's sick.
A perfect example, when I was in my early 20s, there was someone who I knew we'd go to the gym. And he'd ask me this advice about lifting and diet, and I would give him the advice. I'd give him the help. I would try to help him. And he wouldn't listen. He would ask the same thing again, being feminine, by the way, wanting attention and validation and wanting to be on your mind. So I would give him the same advice, wouldn't listen. He'd go ask someone else the same thing. This loop is the same thing women do, just that it's a lot more common. My point being is if someone does not respect your time, if you are trying to help someone and they don't respect your time, in hindsight, they don't respect you. If someone does not respect your time, they do not respect you. So, look, I'm not interested in dealing with women who, number one, offer nothing in their relationship more than just being female. Meanwhile, they want us to do all these things, bending over backwards, jumping over hurdles. Women who are monetizing themselves for male attention, whether it's getting these cosmetic enhancements, and by the way, which makes them end up looking like Jigsaw. Doing things on social media for male attention and validation, which the rare times that I go on social media, I've pretty much filtered my algorithm to where it's just dog videos. And by the way, I'm not talking about them. Dog videos, animal videos, where anytime I see a woman pop up who's trying to monetize themselves and
The sad reality is you have to keep your mind somewhere else to have a peace of mind.
create a bunch of men in their comments and DMs and attention and validation, I will click the three dots in the top right corner and say not interested, because I am not interested. I'm not interested in women who want to monetize themselves for male attention and validation, because there's no exclusivity. What I find funny is a lot of the women who are doing this, those same women 10 to 15 years ago, like when I was in community college, I remember my first quarter there, they were the same ones saying that women should not be as revealing in video games and men this and that, saying that those body types are unrealistic, which I remember there was a class I took. Hard to believe this was even something that was, by the way, in a general education class. Talking about how Lara Croft from Tomb Raider should be censored and that her body type is, or is rather her body type is unrealistic, not attainable for women, when it's like, just hit the gym, by the way. Hit the gym and maybe it'll be attainable. But they went from that to getting cosmetic procedures to look like those characters, to want to get male attention, and to wearing revealing clothing now more than ever. I was near the University of Washington, and of course in Seattle it's raining most of the year. And there was a woman there who was wearing really next to nothing in the pouring rain with a backpack on. I'm thinking to myself, how would any parent allow her daughter to leave the house, or rather their daughter, his daughter, her daughter, to leave the house dressed like that? And I would assume she's probably out of state or living on college campus, so her parents probably have no idea. If I had a girlfriend or wife, I would never want her leaving the house dressed like that. So we went from women should cover up, women should this, to open season, basically. It does not make any sense. And then they do that. They want to act like they're strong and independent. and that they don't want male attention and validation and don't care anymore, and that they're somehow at peace being single. It's the most backwards thing I've ever seen. It is literally the most backwards thing that I have ever seen. It's like you're running, but you're on a treadmill. You're not going to get anywhere doing that. You are not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get a good man number one. They're not going to take you seriously. You wonder why they hit a certain age. We'll say 40 because, I'm around 30 now, so don't want to feel too old here. But no, in all seriousness, 30, 35, 40, when they say they want the strong and independent, or rather the good man, which I could apply to, these were the women who were dressing like that in college age, wanting attention and validation. The good man is boring, which I want to talk about something too with when it comes to these dating apps. I used to use them when I was around the age of 20. And of course, it's just all about attention and validation. I haven't used them in years. I have no plans to get back on them, no matter what people say or try to advise, say, oh, that's the way of dating. I don't care. I'm not going to play that game. But you have these dating apps where I've seen women, and I've dealt with this firsthand. Women will match with a guy. They will go as far as talking to them for even a number of days, planning a date, and then just ghost. Just ghost. The morning of, you don't hear anything from them. Because they got the attention and validation they wanted. They're going to discard and they're going to go on to the next person and play the game all.
It's kind of like it's just attention mongering on literal just infinite steroids. I mean, it's like it's the abyss. You know what I mean? Like someone that keeps staring into the abyss, and then the abyss is staring back into them, and they're just spiraling out of control. It's just like, whoa, this is crazy. This is nuts.
All over again. I mean, I've heard this I've seen this first person. I've heard someone say literally that the only reason they use dating apps is for attention and validation, for a self-esteem boost. I mean, that's ridiculous. But again, that's why you see a lot of men getting off of those. They're not playing that game anymore. So let those women post their picture in there and have all their extravagant descriptions, like their summer getaways. Let them. And they'll be talking to the void. Let them play that game. Don't match with them. Don't swipe. Don't like nothing.
Yeah, let them talk to their little AI bots. Let them talk to their bots.
Nothing. Number one, you're not going to find a woman worth taking seriously on a dating app to begin with. That's not where you should be looking anyway. So, really, that's what it comes down to. Just like this woman in the parking lot struggling to load groceries, they're going to struggle with this idea of having men out of their lives, whether it's even in a situation like this, to help load groceries into the car. Whether it's being there to provide and protect for something. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So you have women who want to control and dominate their relationships as well with this whole strong and independent mindset. Want to compete with men, and especially because again, I went to college, I've seen this a lot too with kind of academia, women who get into good careers and jobs. Wanting to compete with men in a relationship and try to take control and take the lead in the household. And then you wonder why the kids are confused, why their father's being disrespected and humiliated.
See, people don't understand. This has ruined kids' futures. Because now we're seeing the damage it has done for all these. And I don't hate women, because then you have all these people, they'll start trashing you and they'll start saying, oh, you just hate. I don't hate women. I'm just saying it's the truth. That you have all these crazy women, they take control of everything. And yes, there are guys too. I understand. Like if there's a woman that's been abused, I would be against. Like I'm against the fact that if there was a guy abusing a woman, I would call him out and be like, that's wrong. You know what I mean? Because it's both wrong. But the point is, it's all these crazy women, and they beat down their husbands, and they've damaged a lot of their kids' lives, and then their kids have to grow up and then have to recover from this, or their kids just basically get destroyed because of it. And it's terrible. And then they're asking, they're like, well, why is the younger generation like this? I'm like, well, maybe the younger generation is the way they are because they've been beaten down their whole life, or they've been either spoiled or they've been beaten down, one or the other. I mean, it's not good.
Even in public settings that I've seen.
And then it's like most people, they just don't even want to admit it. They don't even want to critically think. They don't even want to question things. They just want to put their head in the sand and act like, everything's sugar plum and rainbows. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well that's not what's going on here. We're in a freaking battlefield. Every day, life is a battlefield, and it's just like no one sees it that way. They're just all thinking everything's Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. So I don't know. It's just crazy.
You couldn't pay me to put myself in that position. That's not going to happen. That is in no way going to happen. And I had an interesting comment on in my last video about, because I mentioned with jiu-jitsu, about women at the jiu-jitsu gym and rolling with women, and I'll be upfront, I don't do it. Number one, I'm a 200-plus pound man.
Well, see, that's smart. And see, here's the thing. The thing about gyms is that you have a lot of these women, they'll act tough with you, and they'll be like, yeah, I can handle it. And I'm like, I wouldn't fight them because it's out of respect. But not only that, it's like a dang if you do, dang if you don't situation. It's like if a guy lets the woman win just to be kind, then she'll be getting in her ego and saying she's one of her man. But then if a man, truthfully, then if he accidentally hurts her because he's going, hard, then everyone looks at him as the monster. So it's like, that's why you cannot spar with women, period. You can't even train with them because it's just a dang if you do, dang if you don't situation. And in my personal opinion, I would rather advise to a lot of guys that are watching this just to respectfully tell them, be like, I appreciate that you want to train with me, but for your own and my own case, and for both of our safety, I would prefer not to do that, respectfully. And I would say, because I don't want to hurt you. But then if she wants to hurt you and she's getting in her ego, then that's when it's going to be a different story. But still, even that, I wouldn't do it. I would just be like, yeah, we're not doing this.
So I don't want to roll with women anyway. Now, if a woman is
out of our own self-respect,
seasoned black belt, someone like that, out of respect, I'll roll with them. Sure, if they ask me to roll, but it's not my first choice, and it's something that's very awkward. I mean, they have women-only classes. I know that's kind of in the whole kind of jiu-jitsu realm, maybe that's a controversial topic in itself, but you have women-only classes. I just don't agree with it personally. I was talking to a woman.
I agree 100% with that, 100%.
In jiu-jitsu, actually. Now, I was going to reply to the comment with this, so I figured I might as well mention this in the video. And there was a guy, again, 200-plus pound man, had a wife, by the way, who refused to roll with women. The guy's also a black belt, so he gets seniority. He can roll with whoever he wants, by the way. And this girl was slandering him, saying she left the gym because this guy would not roll with her.
See, these women, they're I'm telling you right now, they're pushing it too much. They're pushing it too far. Like, when a guy's showing you respect and then you slander him and then you trash him, like, that's you're going too far. You got to stop. Because a lot of guys, they should be thankful at the fact that there's a lot of guys that are showing respectfulness in a class in honor. And it's like, I don't think they really realize that a lot of these guys are very dangerous, but they're really trying to be sincere and kind. They're not trying to harm them.
I'm thinking to myself, why would you want to roll around on the ground with a man in the...
People, they look at this as weak. That's not being weak. It's really being sincere and kind, but then it's also showing that you're not trying to hurt someone. But it's like the other person, they just a lot of these women, they just don't even appreciate it. Which really, that could be in any scenario, man, woman, or child, but like not appreciating it. But people, they they keep testing, and it's if something bad happens to them, like, you know, that's on them. I mean, they had it coming.
First place. You think that's empowering? You think you're strong and independent for doing that? Anytime I've rolled with a woman, and anyone who's in jiu-jitsu knows, or anyone who's tussled or wrestled with a girl, whatever it is. Because I know even I've seen high school wrestling is sometimes you have girls and boys wrestling, which I find odd as well. You know that you're going sub 10% for the most part. Like I said, unless it's someone who's super experienced, black belt, world champion, whatever it might be. This idea of competing with a man and wanting to show off about how strong and independent you are because you can lift the groceries by yourself and you can flex your bicep in the gym, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's not something, number one, that's a respectable trait. Men are going to look at that and they're going to think it's strange. Women like that in the grocery store that I mentioned, acting like they're from another planet when the only planet they should be going to is Planet Fitness. It doesn't make any sense. So more and more men are waking up. More and more men are not playing the game anymore. And like I said, I feel, in a way, older women, like if this was a woman who was a senior, even if she was rude, 'cause I've seen that as well. You hold doors for people. Sometimes they're rude, whatever. Everyone has their off days. I would have helped her. But these modern women nowadays, the mindset, the entitlement, I want to stay as far away from them as possible. That's what it's come down to. They've let it come to that. So, as always, guys, I appreciate you for viewing the video. Hope you guys have a good one. Thank you.